July hockey content! Hi, I'm Steve Dangle with another episode of July hockey content. Did you know that your favorite team has released the schedule for their 2025-2026 season? They have, which means the Leafs have too. Let's have a look at the games that the Leafs have on the schedule for this season, this upcoming season. It's not this season yet. It will be this season soon, but not too soon. You enjoy your summer. But first, today's video is brought to you by Rinse. Who does your laundry? Would you like it to not be you? Then let me tell you about Rinse. Rinse is the ultimate convenience for busy lives, like yours. They're all about making laundry simpler, smarter, and more sustainable. Rinse will come and pick up your clothes, professionally clean them, and return them crisply folded right to your door. Dry cleaning returned in a nice Rinse garment bag. Want to know more? It's available 7 days a week with same-day pickups, and you don't even have to be home. Between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m., you can opt into Rinse Drop, which allows them to pick up and drop off your clothes without you even having to be there. You're going to want to download the Rinse app. Easily schedule pickups and drop-offs and track your orders. Great customer service and flexibility with every order backed by their industry-leading guarantee. If you're not satisfied, Rinse will re-clean your clothes for free. New customers get $25 off their first Rinse order by using the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on the screen. Look at your to-do list and rinse laundry right off of it with Rinse. Download the Rinse app today. Hey, the Toronto Maple Leafs released their schedule for the 2025-2026 season, and you're not going to believe this, but there's 82 games. That's so many games! I said the thing! So here's what we got. Preseason schedule was already out. We can talk about that real quick in case you want to go. They play against the Ottawa Senators on September 21st and 23rd. The 21st is a 3 o'clock game in Ottawa. 25-27 is 2 games against the Montreal Canadiens. October 2nd and 4th is 2 games against the Detroit Red Wings, and then we get into the regular season, which starts home game, Toronto, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock against the Montreal Canadiens. And if you want to go to a Toronto Maple Leafs game in Toronto, October is the month to do it because holy cow, do they play at home so much. The Leafs play 11 games in the month of October and 8 of them are at home. And one of the road games is in Buffalo. So really it's like 8.5 to 9 of them are at home. In fact, the Leafs have 3 different months where they play 8 home games, and that is October, December, and January. So the first half of the season, chock full of Leafs games at Scotiabank Arena. And if you don't get to see the Leafs during one of those months, well, you're probably not going to be able to see them in February or March. In fact, the Leafs' only home game in the month of February is the last day of February. They have back-to-back games in Alberta against Calgary and then Edmonton, and then it's the Olympic break, which for the Leafs lasts from February 4th to February 24th. Then it's back-to-back on the road in Florida, followed by a day off, followed by February 28th against the Sens. And actually just check, they have 6 home games in March, but they have more on the road. They just have a preposterous amount of games in March. 9 road games. It is their busiest road month. So if you're one of those people who follows the Leafs wherever they go, that's going to be a busy and expensive month for you. The Leafs' longest home stand of the season, right at the beginning of the season, pretty much, from October 13th to 21st. So if you're an out-of-towner looking for a reason to come to Toronto and watch the Leafs, that might be your best bet. They play 5 home games in 9 days during that stretch against the Red Wings, Predators, Rangers, Kraken, and Devils. And again, if you want to extend it by a few days, they follow that up with the back-to-back in Buffalo and then back in Toronto. The Leafs also have a 5-game homestand in December that is from the 6th to the 16th. Habs, Lightning, Sharks, Oilers, Blackhawks. And in January from January 19th to the 27th. Wild, Red Wings, Vegas, Avs, Sabres. If you're wondering how many back-to-backs the Leafs have this season, a lot! This is the sort of thing that's good to note if you make a YouTube video after every single game of theirs. They have 15 holy smoking back-to-backs this season. That means 18% of their games this season are the second half of a back-to-back, which means there's no room to just throw your hands in the air and I hit my elbow off the thing. There's no room to just throw your hands in the air and say, well, it's the second half of a back-to-back. You have to win those games. Some of them, at least, for crying out loud. The busiest month to park yourself on the couch and just watch the Leafs all the time, January. They play 16 games. And remember, that also includes one of their longest road stands of the season, and then they disappear for almost the entire month of February. The first time the Utah Mammoth visit as the Utah Mammoth is November 5th in Toronto. They were called something else last year. They have new jerseys now, and they're no longer just called the Utah Hockey Club. Some people like that name. They were wrong. That might sound rich from someone who cheers for a team called the Maple Leafs, but at least the Maple Leafs are a thing. Like a unique thing. Oh, you're the hockey club, are you? That's great. We all are. You're not special. The Mammoth? Well, now you're cooking with gas. For parents looking for afternoon games, there are 2 afternoon games in Toronto. There's a few on the road, but there's 2 in Toronto. There's usually one on December 23rd, and this year, there's also one on December 23rd. It is a 4 o'clock game against the Pittsburgh Penguins in Toronto. The second one, for some reason, is on a Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock against the Colorado Avalanche. Whoa, they have a Sunday game at 2, even though they played the night before? How are they going to do that? Simple. They're not going to play the night before. There's no game that Saturday. But they do have a game at home on Friday, January 23rd against the Vegas Golden Knights. Mitch Marner returns for the first time. But it won't be the first time that the Leafs play against the Vegas Golden Knights with Mitch Marner on the roster. That actually happens the week before in Vegas. Listen, there's home games and there's road games, but if it's a game within the Eastern Conference, whether it's home or on the road, it's going to be in the same time zone. There's a couple early games, but you're awake for those. There's 3 road trips that involve late Western times. The first, January 12th to 17th. A back-to-back against Colorado and Utah. Those games are at 10 and 9. Thursday is their first game against the Vegas Golden Knights with Mitch Marner at 9:30, ending with a Hockey Night in Canada game against the Winnipeg Jets at 7. The Western Canadian road swing begins later that month, starting in Seattle. Steve, Seattle's not in Canada. I know, they had to complicate everything. Thanks for that. That starts Thursday, January 29th at 10 in Seattle. Then Hockey Night in Canada against the Vancouver Canucks, January 31st. That one's at 7, as always. Followed by a back-to-back February 2nd and 3rd against the Calgary Flames at 10, and then the Edmonton Oilers at 8:30, which involves less than 24 hours turnaround for the Leafs with travel, which is something that happens every year, and it happens to them multiple times this year, and I don't know why the NHL does it, and I don't know why there's a players' union. So again, I don't know if you're processing exactly how long this Olympic break is. Like, if you go to games often, it's going to be a long layoff for you unless you go to Italy. January 27th is their last home game before the Olympics. They do not play another home game until technically over a month later on February 28th. The California road trip doesn't begin until the end of March. Technically, it starts in St. Louis with a Hockey Night in Canada game on March 28th. Then the Ducks at 10 o'clock on March 30th. The future is Teal in San Jose on Thursday, March 2nd at 10 o'clock. Hey, it's not at 10:30 this time. That's awesome. Ending in LA for Hockey Night in Canada that Saturday at 7 o'clock. That is March 4th, and then 3 days off. First game against the Montreal Canadiens is October 8th. Already said that. That's in Toronto. The first Battle of Ontario is surprisingly not until after Christmas. In fact, it's the first game after Christmas, Saturday, December 27th. The first game against the team that beat them, the Florida Panthers, is December 2nd. I hate them so much. That one's in Florida. There is no New Year's Eve game this year, but there is a New Year's Day game against the Winnipeg Jets. That one's at 7 at night. I know you were wondering what to get me, and they do play on my birthday this year. March 12th, they play against the Ducks at 7. And the final game of the regular season, April 15th, against the Ottawa Senators in Ottawa at 7:30. I always look ahead to that date, and it's interesting. Like, okay, so the season ends on a Wednesday. Do the playoffs start on the Saturday then? It's not always the case. Maybe not, because even though the Leaf season ends on the 15th, there are 12 other teams playing the next day on the 16th, which is the Thursday, and then the NHL, the Stanley Cup playoffs are going to begin 2 days later? I don't know. So, I think I hit the real important ones. It was a little all over the place, but something for everyone. I do like that the Leafs included a breakdown of the days of the week. Saturday is by far the busiest day with 23 games, 10 of them at home. Followed by Thursday with 16 games, 10 of them at home. And Thursday, there's 15 games, 6 of them at home. So Saturday is obviously the big one, you knew that, but Tuesdays and Thursdays are your other big ones. You would have thought Wednesday. They only play on 4 Fridays all season, only 2 of them at home. And there's only 5 Sunday games all season, again, 2 of them at home. In terms of how to watch the games, I count 6 games on Amazon Prime. There's a 4 o'clock home game against Detroit, so I was wrong. There's actually 3 afternoon games. Whoops. That's 4 o'clock against Detroit, October 13th. The next one is November 3rd against the Pittsburgh Penguins. That one's at 7:30. December 8th against the Tampa Bay Lightning, 7:30. January 19th against the Minnesota Wild, 7:30. March 2nd against the Philadelphia Flyers, 7:30. And April 13th against the Dallas Stars, 7:30. All of those games are in Toronto. So I want to correct myself from earlier. Last one. Sorry. This is a lot. 3 afternoon games for the parents who want to bring their young ones. Or if you want to just go to an afternoon game. October 13th at 4 o'clock in Toronto against Detroit. December 23rd at 4 o'clock against Pittsburgh. January 25th at 2 o'clock against Colorado. There! All right. That does it for July hockey content. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. There's so much July hockey content. We had Chris Johnson on the Steve Dangle podcast yesterday. You can find that on SDPN. I made a video about Yaroslav Halenka signing an entry-level deal with the Leafs. That's on this channel. There's so much hockey content!